Hola, boa noite, Munson here. It's the Expats Portugal show. It's a Tuesday evening, 9 o'clock in Portugal, so that must mean Gilda Pereira of AIE is with us this evening. And she is on the screen now. How you doing, Gilda?
Hello.
Great to see you. How's it going? How's Lisbon today? Is it a little bit soggy?
Actually, it was raining in the morning, but then it was the sun was shining and it was so warm. It's like weird.
It happens, doesn't it? It happens in Portugal. You can be dressed for rain and the cold in the morning, and then by lunchtime, you're in a t-shirt again, enjoying lunch.
Yeah.
Al fresco. Excellent stuff. Okay. Are you well?
Yes, I am.
Excellent.
Thank
okay,
you.
so what we discover, of course, on these Tuesday evenings, Migration Tuesday with Gilda from and we tend to have a nice little conversation. A few questions come in, and then about 9:45, loads of questions come in. So please get your questions in early. The good news this week is that we'll have I was going to say double trouble, double bonus with Gilda this week. Understanding Portugal's new digital nomad visa is the webinar for Expats Portugal. This week, so maybe we can focus a little bit more and certainly deep dive into the digital nomad visa on Thursday, and anything that doesn't get answered tonight in that regard will of course be addressed in depth on Thursday evening. So don't worry too much if you don't get your question answered about the digital nomad visa, and I'm sure there will be questions about it this evening. We have a special webinar this coming Thursday, so sign up for that at expatsportugal.com. Important greetings then to make sure we cover this evening, including Jim in Porto. I think not long back from the United States, actually. Jim, great to have you back in the country.
Hello, Jim.
Nice to see you. And James Alban is here. Oi, boa noite, Carl. Boa noite, Gilda, as well. Great to see you, James, as well. Christoph, to answer your question, this session will be recorded, and you will be able to watch it. Gilda and I can watch it again later if we choose as well. Straight after, it's on YouTube. It's streaming on YouTube now, and you'll be able to watch it forevermore on YouTube as well. Questions from John and Pam, from Noor, from Suze. Ubi's in as well. Look at this. Boa tarde. Bon gente. Thank you, Ubi. Great to see you here. Amelie Kelly, Gilda, lovely to see you on a Tuesday night.
Oh, thank you.
You got a question as well. Anthony's in with a question. Excellent. So let's work our way through those. But before we do, of course, let's find out how Mandela is on my specially prepared Mandela scale, ladies and gentlemen. So how is he, that naughty boy this week? Or is he a naughty boy this week? How would you rate him? 1, 2, or 3? Is he 1, official portrait, good? Is he number 2, a little bit naughty, eating his way through a door? Or is he full on number 3, a hoodie with a mask on?
Well, actually, I don't know. I think that he's a little bit... No, he's a little bit sad this week. So I think scale 1.
He's number 1. Okay. Well, good to hear that. And it's so important that we ask the question, because people, I will be in trouble with people if I don't ask the question. So live then from Lisbon, south of the river, Gilda Pereira from EI, and we'll answer all your questions in this next hour. So let's get into them, shall we? Thank you, Suze. Just saw your question. We will get to that. But first in tonight, and before we even began, Pacifier 007 asks, I moved to Dubai a few months ago, so all my documents, like bank statements, etc., are from my home country. Can I still apply from Dubai for the D7? Gilda.
Yes, if he has a residency in Dubai, yes, he can apply, and he can show the income and the bank statements from the home country.
Okay, I think maybe the confusion there for Pacifier 007 is needing to have a Portuguese bank account. Pacifier will have to have a Portuguese bank account as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I hope that answers your question and our first question of the evening. Thank you very much for that, Pacifier 007, and thank you, Gilda. Hi, Gilda, from John and Pam. Hey, John and Pam, I have a VFS question. Hopefully you can answer. After our visit on September the 2nd, we each received an application reference number, and a few days later, we also each received a barcode number. The VFS clerk said that the barcode could be used to check visa status with the Portuguese consulate, but when I called the consulate, they had not heard of it. Do you know about this mysterious barcode? Is this a new development that people should be aware of, Gilda?
Well, actually, John and Pam, I don't know how to answer you this, but you should tell me the consulate to know which VFS we are talking about, because Beatriz, that is working very close with the VFS office, she will know for sure how to answer that.
So we may not be able to address that. Well, we can address it tonight, but we might not be able to get to the bottom of it tonight, John.
Yeah.
We need maybe would it be useful for John to send a photograph of the barcode? Not we won't publish it, John, but I can forward it on to Gilda.
No, just send me you don't need that. Just send me this question, Carl. If you just send the question to my email tomorrow, I can even give an answer. Beatrice can give an answer.
Excellent. A bit of screenshotting for me to do there then. Okay, happy to help John and Pam. Gilda, we're moving on to Nora's question. Hello. The consulate told me that my D7 application was sent to CEF on the 10th of October. How long does CEF take to approve it? Does it matter which consulate sent it to CEF to determine how fast CEF reviews it? That's a great question, Nora. There's a lot in there.
Yeah. Well, CEF can take up to 60 days
right
to make a decision.
Okay. That's the law, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter which consulate.
Okay. But that said, some, to be fair, are faster than others.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you might hit before the 60 days with some, and some might take it all the way to the wire, like New Delhi, perhaps.
Yes. What takes more time is the time that the consulate takes to send to CEF.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Because some consulates send to CEF straight away.
Yep.
And some consulates take too much time to send the process to CEF to make a decision.
Why would that be?
Because they don't have much people to analyze to make the pre-analysis of the process before sending them to CEF.
Okay. And I learned, much to my shame and embarrassment in a way, that CEF is, I'm talking about VSF now. VSF is a global company that works for all sorts of countries, isn't it? It's not a uniquely Portuguese thing.
No, it isn't. And actually, you remember when we were talking about how suspicious this could be, this company, because they don't have any specific training to do this, and sometimes they make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes they ask documents that are not in the law. So this past week there was on the newspaper like a big scandal because of this, because it was saying that they have like the government hired VFS for almost all the consulates that are outsourcing another company, and they said that it's like a monopoly, and they didn't do like another research for other companies, and they are like investigating it. And one of the things that they were saying is that they don't have the skills for doing it. Many of the people don't speak Portuguese and don't know how to address the visas issues, and they just have a list, but they don't recognize the documents. They don't know how to do it. So they are going to be under an investigation now.
And how long do you think that might take, Gilda?
Ages, as always.
Because CEF will be investigating this themselves, presumably in association with the government. And they have their own challenges, of course, as we know from talking about that every week. But that is in the pipeline. That this whole notion that VFS, and for anyone who's new to this, CEF is the border force agency for Portugal, uniquely Portuguese. And if you don't mind, Gilda, what does SEF stand for?
Serviço de Estrangeiros e Fronteira.
Sim, obrigado. And that is uniquely Portuguese, and of course the consulates are Portuguese as well. However, Some of the work is outsourced to VFS, who I discovered, as I said, work for all sorts of countries and governments around the world. And there is this issue now that they've rather monopolized the situation in Portugal, and there will be an investigation, which is a little bit embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, one of the problems, I suppose, with outsourcing to a company of this kind is they have no national pride, do they? They have no vested interest in making Portugal look good, do they?
Yes, that's one of the reasons.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we would hope for if anyone's tuned in from VFS. And it sounds like somebody at VFS has been quite successful in these last few years. That's quite a good contract to have, isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
Whilst we're on the subject then of CEF and people dealing with CEF, let's take a moment to see what's going on with that organisation. Gilda, any updates on their reorganisation? That might not take very long. But then what else is new? Where are the hotspots in CEF at the moment?
Well, lots of things are happening. The vacancies for family reunion are open. Today, they opened the vacancies for renewals, and also, as we talked before, for the British, they are now calling for taking the biometric data.
Indeed. Okay. And any news on the overall reorganization? Anything been said yet that you're aware of?
No.
I thought that might not take very long. Okay. Thank you very much for that. With the British, they heard nothing for a very long time. Brexit was some time ago. First of all, they had their crew paperwork, CRUE. Then they exchanged that for a barcode. And then suddenly, in this last month, pretty much, they've been called to various CEF offices and town halls, I think, around the country to have their QR piece of paper, QR code piece of paper exchange for a biometric card. It's really quite strange, isn't it, that it took so long, and then suddenly everybody seems to have to go into these offices, all within 2 weeks of being asked. Now, I've got a question that's come up across social media here that might be useful to other Brits. What if you can't make your appointment? What sort of difficulties might that pose for you?
Well, I'm sure. I know that they give you some dates, and if you don't make to that appointment, I'm sure that you can talk with them later and apply for another date.
Another one, okay. When you
Yes.
say talk with them, by that do you mean hang on the telephone for some time or email?
No, it's email.
You can email, okay.
Yeah.
And another question that I saw was if you haven't got the right, this is a scenario whereby somebody had an old address on their CEF paperwork, and that meant that they were called to an appointment in the north when in fact they live in the south now. How might they deal with that? Can they change their address and delay their appointment making?
I suppose so.
And how would they change their address? Can that be done via the website, via email, or do you think they have to phone through and change the address? Or would that be their first appointment? Should they go to their local CEF and change their address on their records? Because the foreigners, the immigrants, the expats move around, don't they? So sometimes their address might change.
Yes, but they have to communicate when they change address.
Okay, and you say that with some vigor. There is there a penalty for not doing so?
Not well. There was a minor penalty, like 30 euros a long time ago, but they never charge it as long as you book, because there was like 30 days to do it. But as you know, along the time they could never handle to fit into that frame.
Sure.
So they stopped charging it.
Okay, so a little bit of goodwill is in operation there.
Yeah.
But it is important, of course, to have your current address registered with CEF.
Yes, it is. Sometimes what happens is you change address, you try to book the change of address, but then it's time to renew your resident permit.
Yes.
So you go and you say, okay, I tried to book the change of address, but the renewal came first, so I couldn't change my address.
Right, and that should be okay.
It's very common to happen. Yeah.
Okay, and are they quite understanding and accepting of that sort of situation?
Yes.
Okay, that person will be relieved. Thank you very much, Gilda, for that little CEF update, a little detour away from the questions, which we will return to now. Thank you, Suze. Hi, Gilda. I took the first step, and Christina replied, fantastic news, Suze. Well done. Good evening to you. I had to sort out my expats discount. Well said. While we're on the matter, of course, if you're a premium member with Expats Portugal, you will get a 10% discount off EI Assessoria Migratorias services. Give you and your family a better future in Portugal. I love that strap line there, Gilda. So Suze has done that by the sound of it. All good. Learning all I can with a spring arrival in mind of next year. Is there an age limit for the job seekers visa? A cheeky little question at the end there.
No, there isn't.
And that would be quite amazing to see. I'm not you, Suze, but let's say you had a kind of 90-year-old entrepreneur coming into Portugal with a job seeker, or taking up a job in Portugal. That could happen technically, right? And they would make the papers, I suspect.
Well, I would say that the law doesn't state any limit of age, but they can. The maximum that they can accept is 66 years old, because it's our age of retirement.
Okay, so pension.
Maybe if they make that, but it's not stated on the law. But if they make like this, comparison.
Yeah, because I made quite an extreme and possibly silly case there with a 90-year-old. But let's face it, some people are still working at 66. And even 70 and into their 70s, aren't they? So that might be an issue, but of no legal barrier that might prohibit them from doing that. You can still work after retirement age, but there might be, I guess that's a little bit of a grey area, twilight zone, literally a twilight zone there. Thank you for that, for raising that, Suze. Thank you for answering it, Gilda. Great to see you, Ubi. How are you doing this evening? Darren, good evening to you. My big question is, it's a big question. When can I apply for the job seekers visa, Gilda?
You can start applying now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Straightforward, Darren. And to Susie, not Suze, this is Susie. Got our call scheduled with EI in November. Can't wait to chat with Christina. Fantastic. And Gilda, lovely to see you on a Tuesday night. I have a question.
How's it
going for you, Emily? According to law, do I need to have the 8K deposited in a Portuguese bank account before my CEF appointment? And part two of that, before you answer, the Korean embassy did not require it. And I don't want to transfer that much now since the Korean currency has devalued a lot. That's an interesting predicament, isn't it? But presumably you do have to have it in there, don't you, for the CEF appointment?
Well, if it was not required by the Korean embassy, and Emily already has the visa, as long as she proves that she has the income required for the D7 and she has the savings in other countries, she doesn't need to show the 8,000 euros in Portugal, because she already got through the process.
Good to know. There you go, Emily. That might put your mind at rest, given the currency fluctuation there. Trevor's in with the congratulations on 8 years at EI.
Thank you.
The whole life of EI, 8 years of age. You've obviously been there all that time because you started the company. Fantastic. Thank you, Trevor. And we will have a question from you, Trevor, a little bit later on. Global Nobles are in. Christoph is still here with us. Yolanda is in. Blueberry Eyes. HU Mary. As well as Mehmet, Justin too, as well, Chris Benson, Tom Smith. We'll get to all of your questions, as we will to Chris Benson as well. People liking the Mandela scale. However, we have Marty with us, and this isn't great.
I know. I saw I knew that he was going to be here.
Right.
I saw your email, and I saw your update to your email.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the news? I mean, can we share that, or is that all been taken care of behind the scenes at EIHQ?
Well, I don't think there's nothing wrong with the process. The process is crystal clear to me.
Okay.
There's nothing fishy with the process. As I always say, usually when something is to be denied, it's fast, and it wasn't. When it takes long, it's because it's going to be approved. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Yeah. Well, this is an unbearable situation, isn't it? Because in a way, that's good news. No news is good news.
Yeah,
Because
but
if you get
Marty,
if you get fast news, it means you've been rejected. But then you're thinking, okay, it might be good news because I've waited so long. But then there's this interminable wait, which is what Marty's involved in at the moment.
it is.
Yeah. Okay,
It
Marty.
reminds me of Thunder Duck counting the days of his driving
Yes.
license.
And then suddenly, one day, just like that, it was all over and everything was sorted out. And that's thanks to Carla at EI, of course. Hang on in there, Marty. Every time I see you, I'm telling you, we're crossing everything for you and wishing you Borso good luck. So let's hope that you'll have some good news soon, Marty. And yeah, hang on in there, mate, and just keep warm around the fire this evening here in the Expats Portugal studio.
But we are going to send an email tomorrow.
Well, that's reassuring as well. Thank you, Gilda. Okay, excellent stuff. Gilda Pereira with us from EI every Tuesday evening between 9 and 10, answering questions like this one from Alex Scott. Benoit, do I need to provide passive income documents during residency permit renewal for the D7, or bank statements should be enough? Obrigado. Very good, Alex.
So bank statements should be enough, and also a rental agreement.
Okay, that's what you need for your D7 process there. Alex Scott, thank you very much. Another question in from Amelie. How did Mandela move from number 3 to number 1? Has he had any training? What's occurred here?
I don't know. I think it's just the mood. We left him alone on Sunday
Yes.
for the whole afternoon, and he's not used to be alone. Okay, so I guess he got depressed, and now he's very quiet.
But well behaved, it would seem. Okay, and Ubi thinks that Mandela should have a Zorro hat to go with that mask. And I think apparently wants his own Zorro hat as well. I don't know if we can arrange that. Perhaps that could be some Expats Portugal merchandise. Nice little hat to go with that mask. Even the masks as well. Okay, thank you very much for that extra update on Mandela there. Let's get back to the questions now, shall we? Alex, we've done yours. Amelie, we have answered all your questions, including the ones about Mandela. Justin's in. Justin Bartholomew, boa noite todos. Good to see you, Justin. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here all over the world. You can let us know where you are in the world as well, if you like. Obrigado to Gilda. The time she spends answering questions, EI is helping with my NIF and bank account and plan for my D7 as well. Great update from Chris Benson. They're not exactly a question, but good to know that Chris is here and enjoying seeing you on the screen tonight. I forget what they're called in Portugal. I think it's actually a French name. Are you still talking about the hats, Ubi? Tom is here from Ohio this evening. Good evening to you, Tom. Boa noite. And more thanks to Gilda. Oh, okay. Same comment as before. Thank you, Chris, for that. And John is with so that extra bit of information to go with
San Francisco VFS.
The barcode question there. And I think was it you that took this photo of the San Francisco VFS there? Thank you very much for that, John. And that should help with the question that you've got for EI as well. Excellent. I have some interest, passive income from savings, but earn more income working online. Can I still choose to apply for the D7, or will I have to go the Digital Nomad visa route? Good question, Justin. Thank you.
Okay, it depends. If your passive income is higher than the Portuguese minimum wage, you can still choose to go through the D7 route.
Okay. All right. Justin, there you go. And we have a question from Mehmet now. Mehmet Ali Gurur. There are many questions regarding the Digital Nomad visa. Of course, and that will continue, I'm sure. And we will address many of them this coming Thursday evening. And the great thing about the Thursday webinar, there's a bit of a lock-in after we've done the recording where you can ask questions directly of Gilda. So it might be worth booking in for that, Mehmet, as Suze has done, I see earlier on as well. Thank you, Suze, for booking into that. Great time, of course, for North Americans to be joining us. But there are many questions you say regarding the Digital Nomad visa. Let's start. When the Digital Nomad visa approved, we will have 4 months. When does it start? By the day of approval or when we enter the country? Good question, Mehmet. Thank you.
By the day of the approval.
day of approval, then you have your 4 months, Mehmet. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Christoph, as an EU citizen, we also need a private health insurance to be able to register. I'm not sure that's the case, is it?
No, you don't need. What you need to do is that when you make your registration as an European citizen at the City Hall, you need to get your Portuguese health number.
There you go. The SNS, it's known as, right? The utente.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Número de utente.
That's what you'll need, Christoph. You don't need private health insurance as those on the D7 visa do, and other types of visa as well. Hi, Gilda and Carl from Blueberry Eyes. I will be applying for an Article 15 visa in the beginning of January. I entered Portugal through Frankfurt's. Oh, okay. I think that's a typo. Through Frankfurt. The continuation of that question: will I qualify even though I didn't get my passport stamped from CEF when I entered Portugal? Ah, that's interesting, isn't it? So, beginning of that, I will be applying.
Yes, I understand the question.
Okay. All right, thanks, Gilda.
Yes, you do qualify, but it's very important that you show the stamp when you entered on the Schengen area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in your case, you must have the stamp from Frankfurt,
Yes.
and then you can show the tickets from Frankfurt to Portugal or
Yes.
other place.
Because this really is a Schengen visa, isn't it? As much as it is a Portugal visa, giving quite an incredible benefit, really, for travel around the rest of Europe, of course, as well. So that's what you need to do, Blueberry Eyes. Thank you, Trevor, for this. We just had some members get their San Francisco D7, and it took 14 weeks. So thank you for that update. And of course, it's a good place to hang out on the Expats Portugal Community Forum, finding out what the timescales are for other people. I'm sure you are there, Marty, but it may be.
already did that.
Yeah, I thought he did. Of course, he's a regular in the community there. But it may be useful for other people as well to be hanging out with fellow travelers in that way online. Oi! Quite a few people saying that to us tonight, right? Mary's saying it. I have a question about the D7 CEF biometrics appointment in Portugal. Mary continues, I have my appointment in January. Will the CEF keep my passport? I live in Lisbon and my appointment is in Madeira. Oh, I'm afraid the airline won't let me board the plane back to Lisbon if CEF keeps my passport. How to deal with such a situation?
No, dear, they are not going to keep your passport. You are going to fly from Lisbon to Madeira. You are going to your appointments. You will bring everything that you will need to bring for your appointment. And then you are going to take your biometric data, and you are going to return from Madeira to Lisbon, and you are going to wait from your residency permit to come to your address.
There you
If it
go.
is in Lisbon, it will come to Lisbon, but you are not going to leave your passport there.
An understandable worry, but sorted out by Gilda there. Clarified. Will I qualify? That was the last part of the question, which I didn't get to, but I hope your mind is at rest now with that Blueberry Eyes. Oh, sorry. I'm confusing Blueberry Eyes with Mary, but clear for Mary for sure. And that was the second part of Blueberry Eyes' earlier question. So Blueberry Eyes and Mary, I think you're both satisfied.
I already answered.
And if you're not satisfied, if it's not clear to you, please ask further on in the chat. HU now asks, hi Gilda, I'm a self-employed translator with clients outside of Portugal. Do you think I can still apply to the D7 from Turkey? I don't meet the Digital Nomad minimum income requirements.
I don't think that they will. I'm sorry. I don't think that they will approve a D7 upon this remote work.
Okay. So
although
yes.
I think you might have a solution. I've already done this. It's the D2 for self-employment people. If you show that you have contracts with certain companies and you provide services for certain companies, but you need to open an activity here in Portugal and you need to start issuing receipts from Portugal.
Okay, there you go. So that's a possible workaround. A call EI is going to be useful, I think, to talk that through a little bit more. HU, thank you for the question tonight. Greetings from Yolanda. Great to see you, Yolanda, this evening. Hi to both of you from Phoenix, Arizona. How exciting is that?
I remember Yolanda. Yolanda, if you're hearing this, please tell me if this is not true. We talked like 2 years ago and you had lots of dogs. Isn't it true?
That would distinguish Yolanda, I think. Okay, let us know, Yolanda. Brilliant. And we have some acronyms coming up, and I need some help with this. Carl, Gilda, the San Francisco office was like the DMV. It was crazy. Global Nobles, thank you for that. If DMV,
what is the DMV?
Exactly. Maybe it's a really disgusting profanity. And if it is, we don't want to know what it stands for. Just let us know that it is a disgusting profanity. And then there's JFC. What does that mean? JFC, spoken Portuguese is harder than French. I thought, sort of, I knew how to pronounce Seth, but I'm enunciating way too much. Oh, I see. Not just Seth, but the whole phrase. Okay. Like a common. Oh, no. Okay. We can't accept that sort of name calling. Stop it. Drum roll, please. One of us got our visa yesterday. Yes. Now, I can't really do a drum roll. I can only do a rim shot. And that's really for dad jokes. So a round of applause for you. Excellent stuff, Global Nobles. One of us got our visa yesterday. 13 weeks from San Francisco there, beating the 14 weeks that Trevor was talking about earlier on. And now just waiting for the other visa. And we are off to Lisbon, hoping the other will come soon. Now, this is a funny thing, isn't it? Couples, people who submit at the same time aren't necessarily likely to receive their correspondence back at the same time. You'd think it would make sense to put them in the same envelope, right? You would.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm going to explain how it works.
I love it when you do this. I love it when you do this. I say to you, it's obvious. They should do it like this. And then you say, yeah, but I'm going to explain to you how it actually works. So here it goes.
You submit the process and then they grab the process, take this, take that, take that. So they go like to random people. And then these random people, some are fast. Martin, listen to me. Some people are faster than others, sending the process to SEF. This is not like machines. This is not an automatized process, okay? Mm-hmm. So these people, behind the process, some of them work faster, some of them are slower than others, and then they send the process to SEF, and then it depends when the process is sent to SEF, and SEF takes the time to analyze them. Mm-hmm. So look at this case. Different people got the process. Same couple. One is approved, the other is still on hold. Yeah. It's going to be approved soon, okay?
There you go. I suppose when I said that out loud, you'd think it would make sense to put them in the same envelope. Actually, then they could both be lost. So perhaps it is better that there is separate cover.
Yes, because then you always have the chance to making the family reunion. Yeah. Actually, we had the case like that the other day. The husband had the process approved for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then the wife wasn't getting the process, and then he was like, should I wait, should I go to Portugal and then just make the family reunion? And then we were like, no, just wait, it's coming. And then the process was approved 3 weeks later.
Okay.
So
well, congratulations, Global Nobles. The other one should be along presently. Excellent. Good news to celebrate tonight. And Global Nobles goes on to say, tell us more about Global Nobles, if you will. And please give Christina, Anna, and Carla a huge thank you for their amazing help. They are rock stars. EI is A+. How about that? Fantastic.
Yeah, great.
All right. And Pacifier 007. While we're basking in the glory of that compliment, thank you for the previous answer. Yes, I've residence in Dubai. I'm worried about issues of documents legalization. VFS checklist has no Dubai docs legalization requirement, but these are from another country. So how bad is that predicament?
Well, I know that VFS in Dubai, they are asking for everything legalized.
Right.
all the documents,
Yes.
even the bank statements.
Okay.
So try to get all the documents notarized, legalized, with apostilles, everything that you can get, all the stamps that you can get in there.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, like dot all those I's, cross all those T's. Pacifier with Dubai. There's no point trying to shortcut anything because they're sticklers for detail. By the sound of it, thank you very much. Now this is being explained to us now, Gilda. DMV is a division of motor vehicles, which I presume is a bad thing. Thank you for for that, Vicky Muhammad, and Angel Tobbit. People stepping forward who are normally lurking but we're keen to answer our abbreviation acronym difficulty here. Thank you, Angel, for that as well. I'm not going to read this one out loud. JFC. Okay, I understand now. I will never forget that. Ubi and DMV is Department of Motor Vehicles, and Global Nobles too. Department of Motor Vehicles, where we get our driver's licenses in the US. Sounds like it might be a bit disorganized. Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh yes. Here we go. Ubi says DMV were the most hated bureaucracy in the US until the TSA dethrone them. That's an ugly battle, isn't it, between those two? My goodness. And in the US, this is an education for us tonight, and each, or maybe not for you, Gilda, it is for me. Each
No,
DMV,
for me also.
okay, each is at DMV state level. Nothing for driver's licenses is at federal level. That's interesting. Okay, so that's a locally distributed there. And an apology from Ubi. Sorry if I offended any Spaniards and other sensibilities. Some of my best friends are Spaniards. That old chestnut. Also, to some Cubans, Colombians, Mexicans, and Chileans. Anyone else you want to add to that while we're about it, Ubi? None taken, my friend. And guess what, Gilda? You have a great memory, says Mehmet, because yes, I have 9 dogs. Well done, Gilda, on that. Hi, Carl. I guess you missed my question early in the chat. I am so sorry, Anthony. I am scrolling. They see me scrolling. I'm going right back up to the top where I'm going to try and find your question right now. And I'm so sorry. You're absolutely right. I did miss it. Good evening, says Anthony. I want to move to Portugal on a golden visa. Thank you for bringing the golden visa up this evening. I'm not eligible for other visas, but there is one thing that is making me hesitate to take the decision. I read that the process is taking 1.5 to 2 years after purchasing the property. Will the processing time change with the new law? I really want to move to Portugal, but at the same time, I can't wait 2 years with my family in limbo. And also, will the renewal process get faster? I am reading many articles about families who are stuck for over a year because their residency is expired and they can't leave. Is that pretty past, that awful situation still occurring for people, Gilda?
Yes, Anthony. Everything that you are reading, it's still happening. You are very well informed.
Right. Okay. And this is despite the British couple who sued Seth for delaying them. I mean, they had their process hastened by that action, didn't they? But it hasn't really changed things.
No, not yet.
Okay, and this is an embarrassment, I think, for the country. What can we tell Anthony? That he is absolutely right in his assumptions, and we have to wait for Seth to I suppose, raise their game.
Yes, Anthony. If you want, you can send me your email, and I can get in touch with you when things get better.
Okay,
But
and
I'm being totally honest.
yeah, as usual, Gilda, absolutely right. That's what people love about you, is you're direct and straight, authentic and vulnerable and honest to the point. And Anthony, forgive me for not addressing your question earlier. And thank you for the prompt. Feel free to do that, folks. If I miss your question, you're more than entitled to remind me. There are a lot of questions here. Great stuff. Okay. Trevor is putting forward a question from Rama from India, who received his D7 visa, and it is valid until February 2023. But his CEF appointment is in June of 2023. What is the best way, asked Trevor, for Rama to exit and enter Portugal from India while the visa is expired? Thank you, Trevor, for that.
Well, she shouldn't.
Oh, shouldn't
Or
leave. He shouldn't leave. Okay.
he
All right.
shouldn't leave. In the period that the visa is expired, he shouldn't leave.
Shouldn't leave. Okay, so there might be
No.
other circumstances that we need to know about there, Trevor, because that is putting somebody in an awkward position. Are there further complications that we need to know about with that one and that particular case there, Trevor?
Because in the 4 months of where the visa is valid, he's entitled of 2 entries in the country. Okay.
Yeah.
But when the visa expires, I don't recommend, well, for people that need a visa for the Schengen area, I don't recommend going out because
Okay.
they may have problem coming in.
Okay.
If it was for United States or Brazil that are or UK countries that don't need the Schengen visa to come into Portugal, it's easy because they can show the visa expire and the booking date with CEF.
Yes.
But in cases like that in India, they might even be stocked at the airline company.
Yikes. Okay. Trevor, thank you for asking that for Rama. And yeah, do pass that on and let us know if there's anything else we should know about that particular scenario. But thank you, Gilda, for that. Here's an interesting question that we've not had before, Gilda. As a Portuguese citizen, asked Luisa, do I need anything to live there? Now, what is this? I thought it was a joke at first. Or is this you returning to Portugal from somewhere else and you're just checking, Luisa? I mean, it might be if you've been out of the country for a long time, you could take advantage of the NHR non-habitual regime. But we think, do we need to know more about this particular situation? I think we do, don't we, Gilda?
Well, it depends. Did she have lived here? Does she have a citizen card,
Yes.
or only the passport, or only the birth certificate? We need more information.
And what we need to qualify is what you exactly mean by Portuguese citizen in that case,
Yeah.
Luisa. There you go. Or
Because
maybe
there are many people that only have a birth certificate, and then we need to take care of the not the residence card, the cartão do cidadão, citizenship card,
Yeah.
and then the passport.
Yes.
And if she already has the citizen card, she can take advantage of the NHR program.
Yes. There you
So
go, Luisa. That is
yeah.
that is available to Portuguese people as well as foreigners coming into Portugal, and it might be worth doing for you in terms of the tax advantages there, or tax minimization advantages. Okay, Luisa, thank you very much for that. I heard you, Carl, says Mehmet. Next question. This 4 months provides the time to apply for the residency, right? We're talking about digital nomad visa, which we'll also do on Thursday. I hasten to add, if you have a digital nomad visa question, doesn't get answered tonight, do make sure you book up for the webinar on Thursday at expatsportugal.com. But right here, right now for Mehmet, if so, can we handle bank account, a year rental, etc., when we arrive in the country with this digital nomad visa?
Yes, but the only thing that we are not sure, because it is not in practice yet, and the consulates don't answer us because I think that they are not sure how they are going to address the situation, is
Yes.
about the rental agreement.
Okay. All right. So stay tuned, Mehmet. This is unfolding in front of our eyes, basically, as this new visa, as the rubber hits the road, basically, of this new visa here in Portugal. So yeah, you know where to find out the best information. Tune in every Tuesday night between 9 and 10. And we've got the special on Thursday. Christoph, money question. Is it possible to get a mortgage with a Portuguese bank having we as a couple, salaries coming from a non-Portuguese but EU company? Now, this is really for a mortgage expert, but you've probably seen precedents of this kind, right, Gilda?
Yes, it is. It is possible.
Yeah. Okay. So
It is
yes,
possible.
Christoph. Great to have you here this evening. Did you want to add something to that?
Yes, I was going to say that maybe not as much as if you were Portuguese,
Yes.
but they make that consideration. But yes, they take in consideration the amount of money and everything in your company and what you do and all that. But it's possible. I've seen many foreigners having a mortgage during these
Yes.
years.
And if I may say so, Christoph, have a chat with Jacqueline of Mortgage Direct, and you'll find her in the Expats Portugal business directory. And she's very straightforward, and she'll give you a good answer on that. Marty, then coming back to us, thank you, Gilda. I just don't understand why several others who have had their appointments in San Francisco after we did have all been approved and we have not. And that's really refers to what you said earlier on, right, Gilda, is it's not a mechanistic process. This is human beings, and you might have had a slow human being or person who wasn't processing their work as fast as some of the others.
Yeah, I understand Marty's frustration, and I'm going to give him an hug when he comes, and I'm going
Yes,
to
I
buy
think.
him lunch.
Oh, excellent. And that's how confident Gilda is that you're coming.
Yeah, I am, of course.
The reservation is going to be made, and you might even get a team hug from EI on that particular day, Marty. A lot of us are going to jump for joy, honestly. And you've got to. We hope we will be among the first to know when you have your visa successfully awarded to you. So keep us in the loop, Marty. Hang on in there, buddy. Gilda, bit of a follow up from Amelie. At the CEF appointment, should one bring new, updated bank statements? Yeah, how fresh should your bank statements be?
As fresh as they can be from the day before.
Off the press. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent stuff. I already booked. I was at for Thursday night. Excellent, Mehmet. We'll see you there. We have a bit of intro music for the webinars. I wonder what sort of music could we have for the Digital Nomad Visa Special, I wonder. Any requests or suggestions, do let me know in the chat. Thank you so much, Gilda. Come on, Gilda. You enjoyed the music, didn't you? We played Casa Portuguesa by Amalia that time. Thank you. Oh, and talking of which, excellent webinar with you last Thursday with Daniel. I did a special interview with Daniel today, which will be released on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel, which covers a lot of the rental agreement stuff that we talked about after the webinar, which really should have been included in the webinar. So we made a special recording in the morning. So watch out for that. That was made earlier on today. Despite Daniel having a little bit of a problem with his internet connection, I think there were some troubles because of the rain this morning in Lisbon. And I had a fly buzzing around all the time. Both of us, he was trying not to laugh at the fly landing on my forehead, and he was having a few frozen moments with his Wi-Fi. But we will get that to you.
You just can't do it without me.
Oh no! Please don't be hurt by that. Thank you. No, really, you were busy. Thank you so much, Gilda from Blueberry Eyes. And a money question there. Money question, Biz. Is it true bringing in crypto and turning into euros is tax-free when the investment was longer than 1 year? Now, it's been a long time since we've had the crypto question, Gilda. And a little bird tells me, I want to ask you this as well. A little bird tells me that Portugal will stop offering this tax-free concession on crypto soon. Is that true? And can you answer Christoph's question as well?
Yes, it's true. The law has changed, and now it's true when the investment is longer than 1 year.
Oh, that is the change, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Is it true? So what does that actually mean then? So it's tax-free if the investment was more than a year ago. So, I mean, crypto hasn't been so great in the last year anyway. But if your crypto investment is a year or more older than a year, then you won't have to pay tax on it. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, it was what I've been reading also about it, and it states like that, so that you avoid speculation and buying and selling a lot of times.
I think I just heard Mandela.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, he's okay. All right. Okay, there he is. He's name. Mandela, quiet. Mommy's trying to do a webinar. Okay. So I hope that answers your question there, Christoph. Let us know if we didn't. Hank, good evening to you. Hi, everyone. Boa noite. E bom verte. What does that mean?
Hank.
What is a bom verte?
Nice to see you.
Hey, bon verte. Bon verte. Excellent. Why didn't I know that? And an oi, Connie says hola. Well, right back at you both. Thank you for being here this evening.
Hi.
Tuning in to see you, Gilda. Is it a good idea to pursue Portugal's citizenship after receiving the Canadian PR?
PR?
As in residency? Okay, I guess that's purely a personal decision, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Because I don't know, according to the Portuguese law, there isn't anything that it's going to change that, or it's going to interfere on that.
Yes.
And I don't believe that on the Canadian side there is either. So.
Okay, so it'll be fine. Legally, you can have both permanent residency in Canada and Portugal. I wonder what's behind the question, Viraj.
What is not possible is that you can have two resident permits at the same time. unless it's the golden visa.
Okay. So that could be your complication there, Viraj. If you need to talk about that further, you can find EI in Expats Portugal's business directory if you want to go into the technicalities of that. But in principle, I mean, it sounds like a great idea to have both, doesn't it? You know, Portugal's passport, I think I saw it ranked as number 6 in one of the scales of best passports to have in the world. So why not?
I don't agree. I think it should be number 1.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Don't shoot the messenger, Gilda. I'm just telling you what I saw on the internet, so it must be true. Hey, Gilda, Connie got her título de residencia this week. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent stuff. And yes, Yolanda
just make Marty believe it's possible, because he needs hope right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hank continues with this business of visa application and acceptances coming out at different times. Even with your CEF appointments, you can be in different cities on the same day, but at the same time. It's another universe. It's a parallel universe for sure. Okay, thank you for all your feedback on the DMV there, everybody. Marty, thank you, Gilda. I am known to be a warrior and a bit obsessive. Thank you for restoring my hope. So that's helped tonight. Andrew, a year ago, we got our residency permits under the D7, but we remote work, don't have passive income. Will we need to meet the digital nomad income requirements when renewing the residency next year? They'll stay on D7, won't they?
No, they will not remember that.
There you go, Andrew. Remember that look.
Just show them the bank statements and they will be fine.
Excellent. Okay. Nicely done, Andrew. And thank you, Gilda. One last question. It's that Colombo moment. One more thing. Is the only way to get an appointment for the Article 15 visa by phone, or can the request be made in person at my local CEF office here in Porto? Thank you. We know what Blueberry Eyes wants to do here. It's got to be the phone, I'm afraid. Oh, dear. Gilda is making a phone gesture in case you can't see that, Blueberry Eyes. Yes. So prepare. Well, I don't know. What are people's strategies for being on the phone for a long time, Gilda? Reading a book and putting it on speakerphone?
Well, what I do is I work.
Right.
I work with the phone like this, and I talk with my team and like that. And this one is for CEF.
Is it? So most of the time, a lot of people in the CEF office have got an earpiece in waiting for CEF to answer.
Yes. So I work like this.
Yes.
Trying to dial CEF.
Yes.
And then I do my work. And
then suddenly somebody will shout out, "Quiet, everybody! I've got CEF."
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It works like that.
All right. Yes. A day in the life. Andre, do you get rejected if you do not submit a Portuguese bank statement or bank statements and Portuguese rental contract? Or does the consulate give you a second chance to submit missing documents? That's a good question. Yeah. How does that work if you haven't got the right stuff on the day?
Okay, so this is a bit fishy, because what happens is they can reject your process, but like we were discussing the other week, they can reject your process, but they don't say why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then we need to go and try to fix it by the things that we think that in their minds went wrong.
Yes. Okay. All right.
And this can be very tiring.
It sounds like you're psychiatrists or psychotherapists with that, but yes. You're fixing the minds of CEF. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you an example.
Yes.
That happened to us lately. We got a process rejected because the client didn't want to have a rental agreement.
Oh,
and
really?
he said that someone would make him a contract saying that would borrow a house. So it's like a borrow agreement with a house.
Yep.
And everything else was fine. And the visa was rejected. And then we saw, of course, that we said there was a risk to present a contract like that, because they are being very strict about the rental agreements. and the process was denied. They don't say why, and we are going to try to fix that with showing a rental agreement.
Okay, so that's in process.
It's in process, yeah.
Okay, all right. So there you go. There is a way to put things right, Andrew. But really, I mean, do your best to get it right first time, and you can save yourself a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
That was meant to be
This
one. Sorry,
this
go on.
can take a lot of time. This can take a lot of time because
Yes.
then you wait, uh, like 1 month to get the refusal,
Yeah.
and then you have to submit another paper, and then you get like 2 or 3 months to be approved.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So try and get it right first time, Andrew. But that is what happens if you don't. Gilda has just let us know there. That was meant to be one last question, Blueberry Eyes. But here's another one. By the way, Carl, when is the next planned expat meetup in Porto or anywhere else in the country for that matter? Thank you, Hank, for answering this. This for you, Blueberry Eyes, and anybody else who'd like to go to a Porto meetup. And it'll be November the 15th. And Jeff and I will get around to setting the date for the next Porto meetup. We just had one last week in Porto. Oh, I beg your pardon. Lisbon is on November the 15th. Well, that's good to know. And don't forget as well, Saturday evenings, you've got Hank and Connie, or Conk and Hanny, I think, as I called them the other day. Mingle with others moving to or living in Portugal. That's an online social on Saturdays as well. Don't forget that one. And you can register your interest for that at expatsportugal.com. But Lisbon, November the 15th. And Jeff and Hank and Connie will get around to setting the date for the next Porto meetup. You missed one just last week there, Blueberry Eyes. Thank you for that, Hank. And you say, I think there's a weekly meetup in San Martino de Porto on Wednesdays. There is. See you there tomorrow if you're coming. Gilda, go on.
I have a doubt.
You have a doubt?
Yeah. Who is announcing these dates of these meetings?
How do you mean?
I always miss these meetings. I have all the work with answering the questions, and when the time
You never
comes
get
of the
invited to the
meeting,
party. So
no.
that's the second time this evening, isn't it? You weren't invited to my conversation with Daniel earlier today. A little bit miffed about that, I see, and noted. And now, to add insult to injury, there's all these meetups going on, and Gilda never gets invited to them. I don't know. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what to say. It's awkward. It's deeply awkward, Shields. I can only apologise. Try harder, everybody. Tomorrow, San Martino de Porto, 1 till 3. You're most welcome, Gilda. And Hank, make sure Gilda gets the memo for Porto, the next Porto date. We're so sorry. Let's change.
And what about Lisbon?
And what about Lisbon? Who's organising that? And why hasn't Gilda got an invite? Okay. All right. Cali Librarian. Thank you for having this. I just got here, so I'll have to read the post and catch up. Yeah, I'll watch it again because it'll be on the YouTube channel, Cali Librarian. How are your plans going? John, great to see you, John. Once we have received our residency card, should we switch NIF addresses to our new residence? Good question, John.
Yes, you must, John. And apply for the NHR if you didn't yet.
Okay, there you go, John. And Gilda's generous lunch offer reminded me of one magical moment last week.
Which was?
Go on, Ubi Umanum. Did you buy Ubi lunch last week? You're not going to say? Okay. No, I would love to. Look at this. All the lunch and meetup invitations are coming in now. Quite rightly so. No, I would love to have lunch with you, Gilda, but I want to make dinner and throw a party for the entire EI team. Yes, party time. But I cannot throw a party from Alaska. Seth, listen to what you're holding up here. You're holding up an entire dinner and party for the EI team. Something needs to be done here. Yeah. Okay.
I want to party. Nobody invites me.
Do you know, there should be an Expats Portugal EI party, shouldn't there? Saturday night, partying hard with that theme tune that you've got. Yes, definitely. That's one for the diary. Jerry, Astrid, John Gibson. John, how are you doing? Yes, you should. Connie and I just updated our addresses. That's going back to the NIF there. We've only got 1 minute to go. We'll try and squeeze in as many as we can. Ubi, we're in Lisbon. We were in Lisbon for Wife and Kids Biometrics. The Hotel Phoenix Music delivered a huge piece of chocolate cake and a bottle of pink champagne there. What a life Ubi lives. Isn't that fantastic? It's kind of scary to see there are so many uncertainties, but I'm going to apply for the Digital Nomad visa 1 month from now and already started mailing with Christina, waiting for her to mail back. Mehmet, you are in the
She's on vacation. She'll be back on Monday.
All right, she's back on Monday, but you are in the white heat, the cutting edge of this new visa, and it could well be bumpy at times, but you may well be among the first to get in there and be the proud owner of such a visa for free without anyone asking or even mentioning that it was her birthday. This is another party we haven't been invited to by the sound of it, Gilda, which they thoughtfully observed on our passport, I assume. So well done.
Yes, it happens. It happens a lot. You see, we Portuguese are very generous.
Yes, there you go. Even though we're not invited, we're not bitter. And well done, Hotel Phoenix Music. I'm not familiar with that one. Okay, Trevor, to Hank, get those RSVPs in. And I was on the verge of tears, Ubi said, when I thanked the desk manager and staff. Wonderfully thoughtful, warm, and sweet gesture. Portuguese folks are the best. Yes. Well done, Portuguese folks. Yes, absolutely. I think this is going to have to be the last question. It is 10 o'clock. Gilda has to go to bed at some point in the working day. Hi, can you explain what should be considered as good competence when someone applies for the job seekers visa in the trade of restaurants? So the phrase good competence, is that a requirement, a proof in the process there, Gilda?
Can you explain what should be considered as good competence when someone applies for the job seekers visa in the trade of restaurants? It's not. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
When you are applying for a visa, it has its rules.
Yeah.
It has its rules, and you need to follow the rules, and you need to get this is a little bit different kind of visa. You need to get like a pre-approval from the Portuguese Institute of Professional and Employment Institutes. And then with that, you can apply for the visa, and with the visa, you come to Portugal, and you have to find a job in those 4 months, and then apply for the resident permit if you find a job.
There you go.
So the thing is, when you are in Portugal with your CV, you need to go and find a job.
Okay. All right, Mabu, there you go. We have to draw a close to this evening's live stream. We do this every Tuesday between 9 and 10, but we just need to scour the last few comments to see if you have been invited to any parties or meetups, Gilda, and make sure you are thanked appropriately for what you've done this evening. One quick one. Hi, Carl and Gilda. I've just signed a rental contract to pay €1,500 a month, but the landlord wanted €1,800 every month. Will this give me problems when I go for my CEF meeting, which is not until June? If it's a signed rental agreement, that should do it. And then the wrangling over the price is a separate issue, right?
Yes, it's not morally correct, but it is what it is.
It's satisfying.
As long as it's registered at the tax office, and you have what you have on the contract is the same that you have on the receipts, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right, psychologist, a new and emerging field, certainly in the world of visas. That would be helpful. Hey, Gilda, didn't Jeff talk to you about Lisbon?
No one invites me.
No one. Okay. Look, this is great advice from Angel. Have Gilda in the loop for the fun stuff. Yes,
Thank
definitely.
you.
We must try harder. Gilda, we have to have you down to invite to Lisbon. There you go. Jerry stepped in and making good on that. And
Thank you, Jerry.
everyone's rushing around now, and quite rightly so. Okay, I'll text you, Gilda. What time on Wednesday? Oh, that's 1 till 3 for us tomorrow, Jennifer. I sent Gilda, says Jeff. Hi, Jeff. I sent Gilda and Christina an invite earlier today. So it's in your email. Phew. Check your spam. Says Gilda. Hi, Gilda. Sorry, Tim. We're going to have to come. It's too late for us to answer that. Come, or will you squeeze this one in, Gilda? What is the recommended minimal rental amount? It doesn't matter, does it? There's no minimum. It's about having the rental contract, not what the amount of it is. The amount of money.
Yes, the rental amount. There is not a minimum for that.
There you go. Hey, Tim, lucky we squeezed you in there. Jim White, you can find that out from Hank and Connie and Jeff there. Gilda, look at this. You got an invite to Canada now. You're welcome to Vancouver, Canada, Portugal bound meetup. It might help improve the turnout if you were here.
I always wanted to meet Vancouver.
Yes, so there's your chance, Gilda. Carl, come to. I will one of these days. I really will. Any Algarve meetups? Yes, there is one in Portimao. And I'm so sorry. We have run out of time here. Jerry, another great and informative session. Thank you, Gilda, and thank you, Carl. Boa noite. That's a little prompt for us to conclude this evening, and we will be back next Tuesday evening at 9. Lots of love to all the team and, of course, to Mandela. And just the last word here to prompt you to head towards Canada. Vancouver is gorgeous. Gilda, great job tonight. Look forward to your company again on Thursday when we have the Digital Nomad Visa special. Make sure you book up.
It's going to be me and Beatrice, so that
Excellent.
you don't get only sick of me.
No, we can never get sick of you. Will Beatrice be on screen this time? Or
Yes, she will. She will.
Whoa, that's something to look forward to. Fantastic. Gilda, great job. Thank you. Ciao for now. Boa noite.
Thank you. Bye.